Hello there, I'm glad you decided to join me on this small quest. Now I'm sure you've heard this many times on YouTube, but one of the best value items on gaming is a subscription to Xbox Game Pass. I wanted to take this opportunity to discuss some of the games on the service that I'm really looking forward to checking out. As always with these types of videos, this is my list, so feel free to put the games you can't wait to check out in the comments. I'm always looking for new games to check out, and your suggestions will help me decide what games to try next. Now before I get into the list, let me explain what Game Pass is for people who may not have heard of it before. Xbox Game Pass is a subscription which gives you a massive library of games that you can download to your console and play. The list is ever changing with games being added and games leaving, so there's always something new to check out. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, then you can play games on PC and use Xbox Cloud Streaming to stream selected games to your devices. As you can see, you get a lot for your subscription fee. Of course, as this is YouTube, I need to say I'm not being sponsored or anything for this video. I just wanted to make this video as I really love the service Game Pass gives. With all that out of the way, let's get to our first game, and this is a recent addition to the service. I've heard pretty good things about it, and it looks like it'll be a very interesting story to follow. So let's discuss Bramble the Mountain King. Bramble the Mountain King is a grim adventure set in a world inspired by dark Nordic fables. Explore the beautiful yet dangerous and twisted land of Bramble in your endeavour to rescue your sister. Traverse a wondrous landscape and survive deadly encounters with Bramble's many hideous creatures. Not everything in Bramble is exactly as it seems. In this strange land with creatures big and small, you must be careful when to approach and when to hide. Many hungry and spiteful beasts lurk in these forests and caves. I love a good folk tales. It really gives you a feel of the country and culture that it's come from. This game is heavily inspired by Nordic fables, particularly the darker ones. To work with that, the game seemingly has a very dark and eerie vibe with deep shadows, which I'm sure hide some unsavoury creatures that you'll want to avoid at all costs. The game reminds me a lot of Little Nightmares, which is on my wish list of games that I want to check out in the future. I'm hoping Bramble will scratch that itch before I get the chance to check out Little Nightmares. From what I have seen in trailers and such, the creature designs are terrifying. Some are larger, some are small, but I'm sure no matter what the size the beastie is, I'll be avoiding them at all costs. This I'm sure will add greatly to the tension in the game. In turn, this will add to that immersion, as I'll really feel like the main character in the game avoiding these monsters. Even though this is a darker title, the environments in the game are very lush at times, with sprawling forests that feel like they go on for miles, and mountains that just be begged to be traversed. However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I've seen claustrophobic feeling rooms and dark imposing woodlands. It really feels like the devs have taken the time to ensure the world of Bramble feels fleshed out, and I really appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to checking this out sometime down the line, as to be honest, I've not played a horror game for a little while now. The spooky season is fast approaching, and I'm always after new games to play during that time. This next title ties in nicely with the previous game, as it's inspired by a very famous story which has been adapted several times in the past. However, this seems to be making that famous story into something new with Ravenlock. Ravenlock's life takes a turn for the unexpected when she stumbles through a magical mirror into a troubled kingdom. Explore the fantastical realms, meet mad characters, and defeat dark monsters to end the Caterpillar Queen's reign of terror. Your destiny awaits in an action-packed, coming-of-age adventure. If you've not guessed by the footage you just saw, this game is seemingly inspired by Alice in Wonderland, with the characters we all know from the story seemingly receiving a makeover for the game. I've seen characters like the White Rabbit, the Queen of Hearts, the Mad Hatter, and the Tweedles. I'm very curious to see what other memorable characters from Alice have been put into the game. Of course, the first thing that caught my attention with this is the voxel art style on display here. It just looks stunning paired with the colourful visuals on display. I'm getting very steampunky kind of vibes with this too, as I'm seeing a lot of gears and clockwork with this. The world in this looks rich and beautifully designed. This is part of the developer Coco Cucumber's voxel trilogy, which includes Echo Generation and Riverbond. If all goes well in my eventual playthrough of Ravenlock, I'll be sure to go back and check out those titles. From a gameplay perspective, it looks very hack and slash, like Devil May Cry and games like that. As much as I love a game with a deep control system and such, I do love a straightforward hack and slash from time to time. Now I assume there's going to be an upgrade tree or something like that in this, kind of like the systems you get in the games I mentioned previous. I find if a hack and slash doesn't have that, it can get very old very fast. All in all, this looks like it's going to be a fun game to play through, which of course is very nice to look at. I feel this may be a fun game to play on the Steam Deck, just to chip away at over a couple of evenings. I just hope I don't end up like the residents of Wonderland and end up mad. Once again, we have another tedious link between the previous game and the game I'm about to talk about. That link is books, as in the following game you journey into books to complete your adventure. Let's go on a literary journey with The Bookwalker, Thief of Tales. The Bookwalker is a gripping narrative adventure game that immerses you in the shoes of Etanine Quist, a former writer who must resort to thievery to reclaim his creative freedom. After being sentenced to 30 years of writer's block, Etanine is offered the chance to regain his creative freedom by using his powerful ability to dive into books. I caught this during Summer Games Fest, and it really caught me by surprise as it's such a unique concept with the idea of jumping into books. Plus, it got me curious about what books you would be delving into, as there's literally so many possibilities when it comes to literature. So I'm very excited to see what books they could cover in this. It feels very old school PC gaming with its presentation, with an isometric view, and it feels very point and clicky. I remember seeing lots of games like this back in the day on PC, so old school PC gamers should feel right at home here. I think I can see a turn-based element with the combat in the game. Now, I'm not a massive fan of turn-based combat. The most I play of this is Pokemon, but I'm willing to give it a go here. The story, as mentioned previously, has really intrigued me, as I wonder if we'll learn more about the book diving abilities. Maybe we'll find out where he's gotten these abilities. Also, why are we getting artifacts from books? Are we selling them on a black market or something? So much mystery that I can't wait to uncover during my playthrough. From quickly reading up about the game, I was amazed to find out the studio behind the game is a two-person team. I'm always amazed when I hear of a very small team of a handful of people, or sometimes less, has developed a high-quality looking game like this. We're so conditioned to think dev teams are just huge. This, I feel, is going to be a very unique experience. Whilst being a bit of a throwback, I can't wait to see what this tale has to offer. Full disclosure with this next one, I have played the demo for this game, as it was released some months back. I checked it out and I wanted to put a video out about it, but I never got round to making that video. So now I'm going to talk about it here as the full game is out. This is Planet of Lana. Planet of Lana is a cinematic puzzle adventure framed by an epic sci-fi saga that stretches across centuries and galaxies. This follows the story of a young girl and her loyal friend. They embark on a rescue mission through a colourful world of cold machines and unfamiliar creatures. As said previous, I first heard about the game during Steam Next Fest earlier this year. I saw there was a demo for the game and I decided to give it a try, mainly due to the game being published by Thunderful. I've played so many of their games previously and I really enjoyed them, so I hope this would continue the trend of great games from that publisher. From what I've played in the demo, it's lived up to the trend and I can't wait to play more of this soon. The movement animations of main character Lana give me feels of games like Flashback. It feels very old school motion capture. It kind of feels like each of your limbs can be controlled to a degree, so I do wonder if this will play a part in puzzles. Another aspect of the movement that feels very Flashback is when you do larger jumps, you are advised to roll like you would do in a real life situation. So even though this is a sci-fi affair, it's still very grounded in realism, which is nice to see. You get to work with your little companion Mui to solve puzzles and traverse the world around you. You can give commands to Mui like jump up and get a rope for you to climb, or to stay still so a button is pressed and things like that. As soon as I met Mui in the demo, I loved the little guy. I thought he's so adorable, but I do worry that something's going to happen to him in the main game, as games do love to take our cute little companion from us for trauma, don't they? I'm very curious about the story here, as it's promised to be a cinematic sci-fi story. From what I've seen in the demo, there isn't any dialogue in English. It's all in what appears to be a made-up language for the game. Reading an interview with the devs, they They said the original plan was to not do dialogue at all and do everything through body language. They wrote more of the story and they felt like some dialogue could add more emotion to the story. This is going to be an emotional one, but I can't wait to see what the rest of Planet of Lana has in store for me. Now we come to the final game on this list, and if I'm going to be honest, this is one that's pretty much at the top of my to-do list, once I've finished the games I'm playing now. It's time to get our watercolours out as we talk about Dordogne. Dordogne is a narrative adventure game which you play as Mimi, a 32-year-old woman visiting the house of her recently deceased grandmother. As a souvenir of the childhood summers Mimi spent with her in Dordogne, her grandmother left her letters and puzzles to solve, to remind her to make the most out of life. In this colourful region, full of wonderful scents and feelings, Mimi will immerse herself back into her childhood memories and see once again through the eyes of the little girl who marvelled at everything. Of course, we have to first talk about the beautiful visuals in this. Watercolour backgrounds is something I don't remember seeing in any other game, and they are just beautiful. My partner loves painting in watercolour, so I had to show her the trailer for this once I saw it for the first time. Another thing I love with the visuals in this is the bright colours on display. I've said it before on videos on this channel, but I love that more and more games these days are using bright colour palettes. Reading what the story is going to be about, it feels like this one is going to be a tearjerker. As said earlier, you're going back to your grandma's house after she passes away, and you relive memories from your past. I'm sure everyone will connect with this, as I'm sure if you've lost a loved one, you tend to travel back in your mind to happy memories with that loved one. The story to me feels very Studio Ghibli at times. I do wonder if there's some influence there. The gameplay looks like it's going to be varied, with some what looks like to be light platformers you explore the world around you, little minigame type scenarios with you potting plants, and what seems to be making food. Very wholesome stuff, it has to be said. You also get to take pictures with a camera and put them in what looks like to be a journal. I hope you're free to take pictures whenever you want, as to be honest it'll be hard not to with all the beautiful visuals on show. I really can't wait to check out this game, as I feel it's going to tick all the boxes for me. Beautiful visuals with what seems to be a very heartfelt story. This is shaping up to be a gaming experience I won't forget in a hurry. I'm so glad it's on Game Pass, as it will give more people the chance to check out this title. I feel this will be a game I want to talk about more after I've played it, so keep an eye on the channel, as I'm sure a full review will be coming in the future. So that's my list of 5 games I can't wait to check out on Game Pass. As said at the start of the video, this is my list, so if there are any games that you're looking forward to that isn't on this list, let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you find a new game to play, then show me your thumbs by giving the video a thumbs up. Feel free to press the subscribe and notification bell, that way you'll know when a new video hits the channel or when I'm live streaming. Thanks for watching, and if you love list videos, then feel free to check out this video, where I talk about games releasing this year that I just can't wait to play. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next quest.